In-depth coverage of the top stories and breaking news when it happens. News Radio 1080 KRLD.
We love it when marriages can stay together. And so if sleeping in separate rooms could put me out of business, that would be great. But I kind of trust that that's not going to happen.
How realistic is it for couples to, spend long periods of time apart like that?
I think it's not at all unusual for couples to sleep in separate rooms. I think there's a really healthy way that it can be done where, there's communication about it and, you're still spending that quality, intimate time together. But I think one of the dangers is, when you start living in separate rooms, that then you start living separate lives. And so that's the challenge. I think, moving to a separate room, if your spouse is snoring, is a great way to take care of yourself and make sure you get the sleep that you need. But I just think there has to be good communication there, so that, you still can maintain your connection as a husband and wife.
And the one thing, of course, they say is if you're missing out on a lot of sleep, you tend to be crankier quicker and, not have as much patience as you would if you get a full night's sleep.
Absolutely. I mean, sleep is so essential to a good quality of life. So if you're not getting good sleep, you're not going to have a good quality of relationship, and that can breed a lot of resentment and anger towards each other. And that can also be an indicator of serious health conditions as well. So, sleep is a really important part of our lives, and we need to make sure that we're getting enough sleep, and that will enable us to be a better partner. And I think, when we can have conversations about, hey, why don't we just go ahead and sleep in separate rooms, and everybody understands that that's for the betterment of the relationship, I think it can definitely help keep some marriages together.
Do you see your clients coming in and that starts with something like this and then it just kind of expands, or typically when they're coming to see you, are the problems much bigger than just snoring?
I will say that there's a good number of couples that I see where they have been living in separate rooms for a very long time. So that's not unusual. And I think the challenge is, if you're going to be in a separate room, like I said, it's just making sure that you're still connecting in other ways in your relationship. So whether that's the cause of the divorce or not, I'm not going to speculate about that. But I think, anytime we start sort of avoiding each other and just living separate lives, that we run the risk of eventually ending up in a divorce.